quick nightmare guide for noobs. Please feel free to use the timestamps below to skip around, but if you are completely new to nightmare, watching the entire video will help you the most. This guide assumes you have all the gear, stats, and unlock requirements, and now it's time to learn and get your first nightmare kill. If you need help choosing gear, I will link the wiki in the description. Nightmare is weak to crush attacks, so you should take your best crush weapon and best melee gear, along with a powered staff and a Sandfuse serum or a Relisim's balm. Nightmare will target you if you have the highest defense bonus in the room, but more on that later. Enough rambling, let's get right into it. Nightmare has 3 phases, and each phase is slightly different. During the 3 phases, she will constantly attack with regular attacks and special attacks. So it's important to know what attack she's using so you can change your protection prayer accordingly. Let's go over her regular attacks first. It's extremely important to remember at Nightmare, you are always 1 or 2 hits away from dying, so changing prayers is your best defense. And as you get better at recognizing the attacks, you will start to take a lot less damage. She uses a magic attack that looks and sounds like this. So the moment you hear and see this, turn on Protect from Magic, and that's it for the magic attack. If you miss the prayer, you will most likely take a huge hit, but hopefully you can tank it. She uses a range attack that looks and sounds like this. Same thing as the magic attack, all you need to do here is turn on Protect from range, and that's it. So these two are extremely important to remember. Don't forget, the clickety-clack sound is range, and the more typical RuneScape magic sound is the magic sound. These are very important to remember. She uses a melee attack that looks and sounds like this. The moment you hear and see this attack, turn on Protect from Melee as fast as you can. You have less time to react to this one, and it's extremely deadly. So if you get hit by this one, just assume you're dying, but hope for the best, you might tank it. But there is a way to 100% avoid the melee attack. Nightmare will only attack you with melee if she is targeting you, but how do you know if you're being targeted? That's easy. Nightmare will attack whoever has the highest defense bonus in the room, and that means that person is the tank. So if you are just learning, definitely do not be the tank, and here are some tips to avoid becoming the tank. If you find yourself being the tank and you don't want to, you can bring things like a fighter torso instead of a bando's chest plates, or an amulet of torture instead of an amulet of fury, or ferocious gloves instead of barrow's gloves, and so on. It's honestly not too difficult to become the tank or tank swap to someone else. If you're still tanking after trying to have the lowest defense bonus, just take off your legs and then check out your gear setup after that kill. And if you are a rich player, just go ahead and buy yourself some Inquisitors after you've mastered prayer switching, and you should not be the tank anymore. That is not how to completely avoid the attack. You can still get hit with melee, even if you aren't the tank. To completely avoid from being hit with melee, make sure to stand on the opposite side of the tank. Don't stand next to the tank, don't stand a square away, don't stand 3 squares away. Just stand completely across from the tank. If they're on the north side, go south. If they're on the west side, go east, and so on. Remember, she will use magic, range, and melee attacks during the entire fight, regardless of the phase. Now let's go over her special attacks. She will use a black portal attack known as Grasping Claws. You need to immediately look for a clear square without a black portal, or else you will take huge damage, so do not get hit by this attack. Also, don't run under or towards Nightmare during this attack because she has a huge black portal under her and you will get hit. She will use the black portal attack during all 3 phases, so make sure you can recognize that and quickly find an open square as soon as you see the attack start. So you are always paying attention for black portals, magic, range, and melee attacks. Now let's go over her phase specific attacks, starting with phase 1. Phase 1 specific attacks are husks and flower attacks. Husks look like this. There is a mage and a ranger, but it doesn't matter too much. Keep paying attention to Nightmare's attacks and change your prayers if you need to, and kill the husk. While the husks are out, you won't be able to move, but you don't need to worry about dodging the black portal attack. If she uses that attack while you are stuck, there will not be a portal underneath you. So, husk spawn, you get stuck, and you kill them off. Flower attack looks like this, and you need to run to the corner with the healthy looking flowers and continue attacking. Whatever side the tank uses, you will need to stand on the other side, or you could get hit with a melee attack, and you don't want that. And if you are not in the correct corner, you will take a lot of damage very quickly, and you're pretty much healing Nightmare. So, phase 1, you need to watch out for black portals, husks, flowers, melee, range, and magic. There are more advanced things you can do, like bringing different weapon switches to kill off the husk a lot quicker, but this guide is not going to focus on any advanced tactics. This guide is just trying to get you in for your first few kills, and then you can do this on your own, nice and easy. Phase 1, husks, you just attack the husk and keep paying attention to Nightmare's attacks. Flowers, run to the healthy flower corner and get away from the tank. Attack and keep paying attention to Nightmare's attacks. Once her shield is completely down, it's time to attack the totems. This is the same for each phase, so I'll go over it one time. This is pretty much a transitional phase. After the totems are fully charged, it will attack Nightmare, dealing 800 damage, spawn some sleepwalkers, and it's time to move on to the next phase. So once the shields are down and you're on the totem phase, switch to your magic gear and begin attacking the totems. I recommend bringing a 4-way switch. You can bring more, but I think 4 is the easiest to manage. Only bring magic items that provide a damage increase. Don't worry about accuracy at all. Just bring your best powered staff, such as a trident or sanguinesti staff, tormented bracelets, imbued god cape, and an occult necklace. You can bring ancestral hat top and bottom once you get more comfortable, but that's a lot of work, and of course, upgrade or downgrade as needed. It's important to remember during the totem phase, she will still use all her attacks and phase specific attacks, so you'll have to keep an eye out for that. She can even use a combination of attacks. So let's say there is a flower attack going on. She can also hit you with a black portal attack. So now you and your team are all stuck in the same area, and you guys will need to quickly find clear spots to stand on if you happen to have those two attacks at the same time. Just something to keep in mind, she can combine attacks, and they become a lot more deadly. Once the totems are fully charged and they attack Nightmare, phase 2 is starting. Phase 2 starts with sleepwalkers. The amounts of them depends on the size of your group, and you have a few options here. They only have 10 HP and will instantly die with whatever you attack with. If you are in a small group, everyone can choose their corner and they will be responsible for it. And you can use something like a Sarah God Sword special attack to recover some HP and prayer. But if you are in a bigger group or are just really unorganized, I recommend using a blowpipe for the very fast attack speed. You can also use your staff, but it attacks a lot slower than a blowpipe. If any sleepwalkers make it through, the entire team will take damage, and depending on the size of the group and how many sleepwalkers got through, this attack can be very deadly. So choose your corner and your weapon, and kill all the sleepwalkers before they make it to Nightmare. If you are doing this solo and you miss a sleepwalker, you will be killed, so just tally out before you die. That was phase 1 plus totems. Now let's get into phase 2. This is definitely the worst phase that will mess you up, so pay close attention because I truly want you to be successful. And trust me, I know how frustrating this can be to learn. It took me a while to learn. But anyway, phase 2 specific attacks are Curse and Parasites. Curse looks like this. You won't ever miss it. You have this pink glow on your screen, and it's pretty tricky to handle at first. All this does is change your prayers. This turns the magic prayer into range prayer into melee, and melee prayer into magic. I've always heard people say prayers shift one to the left, and that makes it easy for them to remember. So if that helps you, please use that method, prayers one to the left. That honestly didn't help me much though. I would end up confusing my left and right in the moments. So what helped me was thinking about the combat triangle and what they are strong against. It's pretty much the same anywhere in the game, so it's good to remember. So remember, range beats magic, magic beats melee, and melee beats range. If Nightmare uses a magic attack, I will quickly think of what is magic strong against? And that would be melee, right? So if I click the melee prayer, the protect from magic will turn on. If Nightmare uses a ranged attack, I can remember range beats magic, so if I click on the magic prayer, protect from range will turn on. If Nightmare uses a melee attack, I can remember melee beats range, so if I click the range prayer, protect from melee will turn on. I hope I didn't over-explain that. It's actually super simple once you get the hang of it. You can remember it by thinking of the combat triangle or by remembering the prayers shift 1 to the left. Whatever is easier for you to remember. I'll go over it one more time. Protect from magic turns into protect from range. Protect from range turns into protect from melee. And protect from melee turns into protect from magic. That's curse. You will always know when it happens because a pinkish glow will appear on your screen and it lasts for 5 attacks, but it can get confusing to count attacks at first. So I recommend paying attention to the sounds, chat box, and overhead prayer to know when curse is over. Nightmare can use this attack at any points in phase 2, so pay close attention. Next phase 2 attack, parasites. Parasites are simple to handle, but they can be very punishing in small groups if you are just not paying attention. Nightmare throws some bugs at you, and they will impregnate you. You will know you're infected or impregnated because your HP orb will turn pink, and you will also see a message in your chat box. To counter this, you can either bring a Relisim's Balm or a Sandfuse Serum. It's up to you, Sandfuse Serums are really expensive. Drinking one of those will take care of the impregnation, and the parasite does come out after about 3.5 nightmare attacks. They will immediately begin healing nightmare, so kill these off as soon as possible. And if you do not drink a Relisim's Balm or a Sandfuse Serum, when the parasite bursts out of you, it will do a ton of damage. So if you get impregnated or infected, drink your potion, wait 3.5 attacks, and then attack the parasites. That's pretty much it for phase 2. You need to watch out for her auto attacks, black portals, and phase 2 special attacks, curse and parasite. Remember, curse swaps your prayers and parasites impregnates you. Once Nightmare's phase 2 shield is down, the totem phase starts again, so switch back to your magic gear and attack the totems. Don't forget, she can still use all her attacks during the totem phase. For example, she can still swap your prayers or impregnate you with parasites. And just like last time, once the totems attack her, more sleepwalkers will spawn, so switch to your weapon of choice and kill them all. Now it's time for phase 3. If you can make it to phase 3, you're all good, it's smooth sailing from here. I think it's mainly phase 2 that takes some time to get used to. Now it's time for phase 3. Phase 3 specific attacks are spores and Naruto Run. The spores look like this and are easily avoidable in small groups. You need to have at least one empty square in between you and the mushroom. If you do get infected, your run will be disabled and you will attack 1 tick slower. This will eventually wear off, but it can be very deadly when she uses this attack along with Naruto Run. And if you are in a large group, just accept that everyone's going to be infected and it's all good. It's really not a big deal. It will wear off and you can turn your run back on. The Naruto Run looks like this. You simply need to get out of the way, and this will avoid all damage. If you do get hit by this attack, you will take up to 60 damage, so don't get hit. And if this attack gets paired with spores, you need to pay extra attention to where she is running, just in case you are stuck walking because of the spore attack. So, phase 3 has spores, Naruto Run, along with the black portals, magic, melee, and range. Just like the last phases, once her shield is down, you will switch to magic gear and attack the totems. The only difference is that there are no sleepwalkers after this phase. The fight is simply over, and congratulations, Nightmare just gave you 6 bass. If this helped you out, please let me know. If you have not gotten a kill yet, don't worry, I know you can do it. Everything in this game is challenging at first, but once you practice a little bit, this stuff becomes easy mode. I'm going to give a very quick overview of the fights. Remember, Nightmare is weak to crush, so bring your best crush weapon and make sure it's set to crush. Nightmare has a totem phase that requires magic weapons and magic boosting gear. The attacks you always need to look out for are black portals, magic, range, and melee. She can use those at any point in the fight. Phase 1 special attacks are flowers and husks. And remember, husks, you will get stuck, kill them off quickly. Flowers, run to the healthy looking flowers and get away from the tank. Phase 2 special attacks are parasites and curse. Parasite impregnates you, make sure you drink your Sandfuse or Relisim's Balm, and then attack the parasites after. Curse, that's when your prayers are swapped, so just remember prayers go 1 to the left. Or you can think about the combat triangle. If she uses magic attack, you will pray melee because that is the weakness, and so on. Phase 3 specials are spores and Naruto Run. Spores, make sure you are at least 1 tile away. If you can't avoid it, it's all good, don't worry too much about it. Sometimes it's just unavoidable. And Naruto Run. make sure you know where she's running and get out of the way. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me in the comments below. It's been a while since I've made a guide, so please let me know what you think about this one and let me know if you like my video style. If you are still struggling here, don't give up. You can do it. Just work on your prayer switches and this boss turns into easy mode. And that's about it. I hope this helps. Until next time, guys. Peace.